So as we're talking about Netzach, we need to remember that we're not talking about powering through. We're really talking about bringing attention to the discomfort that we might be feeling, and then persevere with our inner energies and have them in right proportion to meet whatever the particular moment is calling for. So I want to put this in context of the past few weeks as we've been looking at these sephirot. So the first week of counting the Omer, we looked at Chesed, which is loving connection, compassion, an emphasis on open-heartedness toward ourselves and toward others, and it's really expansive. And then we had Gevura, the second week, which put some boundaries on this and calls for some differentiation and limits. And then last week, we were looking at Tiferet, which is the integration of Gevura and Chesed. It's that balance that we need. So Netzach this week, this energy is the energy that we need to actualize these first three character traits. So if we recognize with our discernment using Chesed, Gevura, and Tiferet that something needs to change, that we need to do something, it's that Netzach that's going to get us up off the couch to do it. And it's the Netzach that gets us motivated in the first place and holds that motivation, that keeps that energy flowing. So we can look at this as represented by the 6 days of the week. That's the time for busyness. It's the time for doing. It's the time for action. And then next week, the Sephirah is Hod, which is going to be represented by Shabbat. So that's a little bit of a spoiler alert. So there's that, again, the balance. So I think that physical energy sometimes really helps us deal with that feeling of lethargy and heaviness that we sometimes have when we're emotionally stuck or in a thinking loop and stuck. So I think physical energy can really be a counterpoint to this stuckness and can help get things flowing again. So as an experiment today, I want to invite you to stand up, and we're going to do a little movement before we sit in meditation or stand in meditation. You know, some of you may like to try standing meditation. So I invite you to stand up and join me in this activity. And if you think you're going to feel self-conscious, then please turn off your camera. I'm going to keep my camera on so you can see what I'm doing. But I want us to take a comfortable stance with, legs comfortably apart, maybe hip width, maybe a little bit more than that, and your knees slightly bent. And the key here is that you monitor your own activity so that you are taking care of your body. And what we're going to do is shake. So I invite you to start shaking from your legs and your ankles and your knees, and you allow every joint in your body to move. And we're going to just shake for about a minute. And I encourage you to shake as vigorously as works for you. And the idea here is that we're getting that energy flowing inside our body. And you can move around if you want, or you can stay still and just shaking all around. So this might be the biggest aerobic exercise for the day. I don't know. And now stop and just notice. Continue standing here and notice what's happening in your body. Sense and feel. Pay attention. So now I invite you to either take your seat or continue standing. Standing is a perfectly legitimate posture for meditating. And continue noticing what's happening inside your body and how this feels. And we're going to move into our silence. And I encourage you to do a bit of a body scan and check your posture. So as you begin to deepen your breath and slowly come back to the room, I want to share a brief quote from Eleanor Roosevelt and then a poem. So this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt is, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." And the poem today is, "It is I who must begin." It is I who must begin. Once I begin, once I try, here and now, right where I am, not excusing myself by saying things would be easier elsewhere, without grand speeches and ostentatious gestures, but all the more persistently to live in harmony with the voice of being as I understand it within myself. As soon as I begin that, I suddenly discover, to my surprise, that I am neither the only one, nor the first, nor the most important one to have set out upon that road. Whether all is really lost or not depends entirely on whether or not I am lost. And that's by Václav Havel.